Just, I don't want to miss it. Yeah.
Okay, you can go ahead and get started. There was a update in our system, it looks like, where
Yeah.
you no longer have to do all the stuff I was doing, trying to log us on. It just automatically connects us.
Well, that's nice. That's a good thing, right?
So that's why I kept starting and stopping, because I'm like, this is not right. This is not right.
Oh, it didn't look
right. I just found out there was an update. So you can begin. Hello, everyone. Happy New Year.
Well, Happy New Year, everyone. I'm going to call to order the January 10th, 2024, the New Year Akron Public Art Commission meeting.
If somebody needs to mute their background. Okay, now I can hear. Thanks, Andy.
Yeah, so call the meeting to order. Look here at the agenda one more time.
I think that's your background, Andy.
Could be.
Oh,
it's slightly windy here. I'll do my best here. So, doing a roll call of the commissioners. I think we have everyone here, but Larissa, and are we missing anyone else?
And Eric is still on for the time being, but if we do a roll call, it makes it easy for the person taking the minutes to be able to jot down everyone's names.
All right, I'll just go person by person then. John, are you here?
I am here.
Katie, are you here?
Present.
Roberta, are you here?
Present. Yes.
Jessica, are you here?
Present.
Leo, are you here?
Yes. Hello.
Megan, are you here?
Sure am.
Larissa, are you here? I don't hear anything, and she's not logged on, so you can take that as a no. And Eric, are you here? I don't hear Eric, so he's also not on. So I think that's it. We're able to get all that down.
Just for clarification, is Eric officially off the commission? That's my understanding. Is that correct?
I think he's still a commissioner.
No, he's not off the commission. He said he would stay on until we're able to replace it with someone else, but he will jump on the calls when he can.
Okay, thank you.
So he'll stay on for a little while longer.
So could I get a motion to approve the minutes from December 13th, 2023? What we did in that meeting was we appointed chair, secretary, everyone to the roles on the board. And we also went over the RFP for the traffic box lighting project. I know we sent a bunch of emails in between. I think everyone did a really great job of replying to all those emails in time and leaving a lot of feedback. I tried to implement all the feedback sent by John, Eric, and everyone else to get through. And I think we got pretty much everything in. I didn't hear a status back after that. So it looks like it's up to next. But if we get a motion to approve the December 13th, 2023 meeting minutes.
I make a motion.
Second.
All right. So we got a first and a second. Is everyone else? If you want a motion to approve the old business minutes, say aye.
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 All right. So the December 13th, 2023 minutes approved. Sounds like we have a quorum. So we're going to move on from that. All right. Next on the agenda is old business. Do we have any old business? It was mostly just the RFP traffic boxes, right? So we could probably jump straight to that, or. Summer, was there anything else that we were missing other than the RFP traffic boxes from last meeting? That's old news.
No, so
I don't think so.
the RFP that you guys created, I've sent it over to our law department for them to review. Hopefully we'll have something back by the end of this month. And then we need to probably discuss, the reason why I put that on the agenda was to discuss dates. So when we submitted the RFP, we didn't put dates. So if the RFP is completed by the end of this month, right, we can roll it out after our next commission meeting, which would be February 14th. So I could roll it out on the 16th of February, that Friday. And then we would need dates on when they would be due. How long do we plan on leaving it out there for the community to see?
Gotcha. So I'm wondering, any initial feedback on dates from anybody? I'm probably a minimum a month.
I would think the law department can give us some advice on that, on what's typical. I want to make sure there isn't anything legal regarding the city's RFPs. There might be something actually written saying they must be posted publicly for a certain amount of time. Nothing?
No, we choose the dates, just like we chose the dates for when MacLove got selection. We can select the dates. There's nothing that states we have to go off of. If it has to be 30 days, 40 days, so forth, we can pick the dates of how long we want it to be.
Then I concur with Andy regarding 30 days.
30 days to receive it back.
I think a month to 2 months is always kind of like a pretty standard timeline for something like that. I think we also could like put something in where we're going to like wait and see how many responses we get for a certain amount of time. And if we want to get more or less responses based off of what we already got back, maybe take like an initial look at it and leave it open for longer if we want to try to get more qualified candidates. There wasn't anyone that was like great, if that's possible.
I probably would recommend we put a deadline date. You can say you want to leave it out there 45 days, right? Or 30 days. Halfway between, or like 20 days in, we can put out another press release reminding people that this is out there as a reminder. That's also what we did for the art collection. Sorry, I'm all over the place right now, but for the art collection, we sent out another press release reminder to remind people that this is out there, this is due, and then we stick to our deadline. So who applies, applies. Now, if we don't get any in the 30 days, then we can open it back up. But usually somebody or 2 to 3 people will respond. So we don't want to keep it open because this will be a long, drawn out process. We want to solidify dates and we want to stick to those dates.
My initial thought is to go a little bit more conservative and like do a little bit longer time period just to make sure we're getting enough in, considering like the technicality of the project. I don't know how many companies out there have specific experience with this. I'm just want a high quality candidate. Maybe 45 is better, but I'm also okay with 30 if that makes more sense just between commission meetings and our schedules. I don't know if anyone else
that, of how long you want to do that.
I also like 45, actually. That way we know that we have at least maybe 2 of our meetings during like the timeline so we can talk about it more, and we can even like talk about who has applied, after the deadline. So, I don't know.
Yeah, I agree too. I agree with that, Biddle.
Roberta, do you have an opinion on it?
It makes sense. It's fine.
I think you're muted, Roberta.
Yeah.
45 sounds good to me, but we have to kind of remember that the longer we're putting it off, we're thinking about bad weather or fall weather or cold, and yeah.
But this is just a proposal for to do the print and print the wraps. The next step would be finding out what neighborhoods you want to do it in and then creating another RFP for the community. So right now we're just working on step 1. So nobody's going outside. I would assume we wouldn't kick this off for the reps to go out until maybe early summer, if we can get everything together.
Yeah, so this is less the dates for the contract itself for the work to be performed and more so just the dates on after we send the RFP out, we're going to close it after this many days. So if there's bad weather, then it's fine because on the contract, you could still specify a schedule to start in the summer, spring, whenever the conditions are good. Maybe not that late, but you know, I guess what I'm saying is the dates in the actual contract for work to be performed itself can be not the same as soon as it ends. We're not going to make a decision on day 45, for example. We'll have to come back to the meeting and probably like vote and come to a quorum on which contract we want to select. And probably with a little bit of review before that, which maybe the 45 days will actually help offset us a little bit from meetings. So we could have like looked at a few too and talk about it and send some emails back and forth with ideas. But okay, well, it sounds like 45 days sounds good. Could you need a motion? I guess we're going to vote on it. Is everyone okay with 45 days?
Yeah. A motion to approve that.
Need a second? All right, so it sounds like we're going to go for the 45 days for the RFP summer timeline. So just deadline from whenever. Yeah.
Also, just to do things a little different, because the person that's reporting it is not seeing us on camera. So when, you know, you say you want to make a motion or who's approving it, Andy, if Jessica says, you know, I approve it, say, okay, Jessica made the first motion.
Gotcha.
John made the second motion.
Yep, roger that.
Okay, you can say first names, that's fine. But let's kind of get into the routine of doing that a little bit more.
Yeah, gotcha. We're going to be saying names out loud. All right. We also have here under discussion of the RFP traffic signal boxes, roles of the commission. Is this in relevance to the project itself or?
Yeah, so I thought that you guys, now that we have this part done right with the RFP, my thought, and you guys can change it. And when I send out the agendas, I need for everyone to take a look because I could be missing something. And I need for your feedback to tell me, hey, Summer, we need to talk about this, or we need to talk about that, or we don't need to talk about this. I'm just creating them. So it's up to you guys to communicate with me on what your agenda should look like because you're the commissioners. And this is, you know, the meeting that you guys should be handling. So yes, so I said discussion of the traffic boxes. So the next step, again, we've already completed the RFP for the businesses. What does the traffic box areas look like? You know, we've looked at the maps, we've mapped out all the different streets for you all. What areas would you like to start? So once you can tell me, say, we're interested in Goodyear Heights. Okay, and then we can map out the different traffic signal boxes in that area and send it to you all to review. And then you can pinpoint what traffic boxes you want.
I know that we wanted to wait to see some numbers from the quotes from the contractors on the RFP before making a decision on exact locations because we need to know how many we have before we can decide on exact locations or the geographic distribution. I think we had a general, like several like regions or neighborhoods that were like strong candidates for where to plot them down. But I think we were going to look at some quotes first, just that ballpark idea for the services and how much we're going to be able to do.
So we want to wait from the 16th if it goes out on the 16th. Then we want to wait 45 days for us to get the reports back. Then we're going to have to break it down and see, you know, all the reports. And then we
could start looking at them as they come in. So
I just think that's a long time to sit. Really, we're not, you know, doing anything else at this time.
That's true. I do think we could look at them as they come in and like get a ballpark based off of actual quotes, even if it's not like necessarily even the one that we choose, and then use that as the basis for knowing how many traffic boxes we're going to have and then make more specific plans. But I think until we have even one quote, we're really just going off of what we know from like the other cities in order to make official plans. So I think we can start to like make plans, but I don't think we can make like this intersection level type plans until we know exactly. Or we could make one that's kind of like flexible. I don't know what everyone else's opinion is on it, but I'm really interested to see what we get back from the contractors personally before decision on it. But
Andy,
oh, go ahead, Roberta.
Oh, Andy, I just think we should start looking around in the area, especially places that have high traffic areas. And my thought was that each ward or precinct would be able to get traffic boxes in that area. Is that right?
Yeah, and maybe we could do the quantity per area we were looking at too. Like I know like Megan and I were talking about that area in kind of like Middlebury, for example, driving into the city versus like Leo's area and like Summit Lake neighborhood where if we're looking over like Kenmore Boulevard or something, or if we're looking North Hill or Katy or something. If we're saying maybe this many, traffic boxes per neighborhood, maybe we could start to come up with like really good intersections within each of those locations. Maybe the top 2 or 3 locations. If you guys are able to put down like the top 2 or 3 locations for those like larger like neighborhoods that we're looking at targeting, then, however many traffic boxes we can afford, we can kind of just round robin distribute them out among those locations by priority, how good of a spot it would be.
Okay, so I know we've already had a conversation about everyone's top 3 areas that they were interested in doing.
Hmm.
But collectively, how many? Okay, because when you look at this, we're looking at not getting this stuff back until April, right? So we'll have our February meeting, we'll have our March meeting.
Well, I'm saying top 3 intersections, like literal locations, not just the neighborhoods. I'm saying top 3 intersections that put like traffic control boxes to put it on within those neighborhoods. So like specific places. Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. If y'all can start having conversation about, you don't have to wait for the contracts to come back to figure out what neighborhoods you would want to do this in. If it's one neighborhood to talk about, where you would want the traffic boxes, you could have that type of conversation, because these next 2 meetings that we have will be about what? If we don't get any art coming in, or, someone wanting to do a submittable application to talk and present to the commission, then we're having meetings with no direction.
Well, I think we could do that top 3 intersections even thing, and that would parse it down from at least the areas, and then we have like something additional to talk about if everyone's okay with that, or everyone wants to like take ownership over some area, at least maybe like within your ward or close to your ward. So like for me, the LA Goodyear area in Middlebury, I have a lot better idea than North Hill or Kenmore or Summit Lake or all those other neighborhoods. So I think we could like leverage everyone being the different wards to come up with the specific intersections and maybe even traffic control boxes. And then we could talk about that in the next meeting and have everyone like share the specific locations they had proposed. Because I think during that other meeting where we were actually in city council chambers, we had discussed actually doing multiple neighborhoods, right, in order to help get support from city council to see if they wanted maybe more within their neighborhoods. So it wasn't the idea to put it in multiple neighborhoods, unless I misremembered.
So if I understand correctly, what we wanted to do is make sure that every ward is represented. And I think maybe the better approach here is to just create a framework of, let's just say 4 boxes, or I forget, what did we write the RFP for? Up to how many boxes, Andy? You remember?
The exact amount, I do not remember. Like a maximum quantity of boxes. I don't think we put in a maximum
so that's
quantity.
Fine. So why don't we just choose 4 boxes per ward? Because if we're going to roll this out successfully, in my opinion, it'd be really nice to say, hey, the City of Akron's Public Art Commission has commissioned these artists to do, 4 traffic boxes in each of the wards. That keeps everybody equal, makes it, that type of thing, which is good, because we don't want to be dealing with how come only Highland Square got this or Middlebury got it and no one else. And then we just come up with 4 locations. And then once we get the quotes and realize maybe we can't do 4 per ward, then we drop it down to 2 or whatever that number is. And then it sounds like to me, somewhere that satisfies what you're looking for, is like you basically are trying to get us prepared so that we can hit the start button once we choose the vendor. And so maybe we just, choose 4 per, and so I don't know what information we need to go off of. I know there was information you provided prior summer, but if we want to divide and conquer and, each of us pick up a couple words and go drive there and kind of determine, but I really think what we should be looking for in each ward, which I know the city has this information, and that is in each ward, where the most highly trafficked, intersections. That's all we need to know. And then we just say, let's just pinpoint these 4 because we really want to celebrate this, I think, and we really want to get council behind it, even though we don't need their approval. We really want to celebrate it, and it'd just be really cool if we can say, especially to Mayor Malik, that, hey, we've considered the entire city, and this is something great that everybody gets to benefit from the beauty of.
That sounds, you hit the nail on the, well, however you use that term, but yes, that's correct.
So what we need to know is in every ward, what are the 4 most trafficked intersections, keeping in mind, and I'm not sure exactly because I'm not a civil engineer, that one intersection could have actually 2 traffic boxes, one on each side. I'm not sure. So we'll have to see. But right now, I would just get the top 4.
Britton Road, that's like 6 corners.
Yeah.
They only have 1 box.
Oh,
so
okay.
What I'll do is work with our zoning team and have them put something together.
Yeah.
And then I can send that to you guys to take a look.
We just need the top 4
just to be
top 4 intersections.
Yes.
Top 4 traffic intersections per ward. And if a ward doesn't have, everybody's got to have 4 intersections, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Does everyone agree with the
every ward
has to
have 4 intersections?
Oh, there's intersections all over the place in every ward. Yes. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And some of the wards can come together too.
Yep.
Like, where Hawkins and Market, that's 8 and 4.
Yep.
So
if we have to make that decision that they're sharing, then we'll make that decision at that time.
Yes.
Does everyone agree with the per ward as opposed to per neighborhood? I agree with that. I like that scale. It's a little bit easier.
Well, I'm concerned about any political backlash. I'm concerned about any political backlash, and so I really want to make sure that city council behind this.
I agree with that equitable distribution, and then I like the idea of if we can't do as many boxes, like do that round robin distribution thing where we just take like the first, second most highly trafficked or like best area in each of the wards and kind of distribute them out equally among. So we still do like the round robin thing, but instead of per neighborhood, then everyone can, maybe what we do is we put up like a Google sheet and we put down all the wards and you like sign up to take so many wards and come up with it. Or we just take the data. I could probably look it up. I have the traffic data. Might be in our GIS system. I'm not sure. I would have to look if it's in our GIS system.
Summer's got the information. Engineering.
Let me have our team, our zoning.
Yeah, they have.
He's already ready to go. He was just waiting for me to.
Yeah, they have the information.
Show you guys what exactly we wanted. So I've already talked to him and he's ready to go. So I'll get that together. I'll send that to you guys. You can then review that. The reason why I was trying to be so persistent about it, and John said it perfectly correct, was that since we won't have the RFP back from the companies till like April, then we have to figure out what locations. Then we have to put together an RFP for artists, community to do it. We don't want this to go into the end of summer. We want to kind of tackle this in the summertime so that they can wrap the boxes and people can take advantage of the opportunity of seeing the boxes versus wintertime hitting and so forth. So I would like to, us to actually have this project completed all the way of getting the boxes wrapped by mid-summer, early fall, just so we can showcase this and have something to say we did, right? And the more we do, there's probably more money that could come down the line. With us not doing much, we're not going to get, the resources that we need. Okay.
For sure. I just, I know the main constraint on it's going to be the finances. So we can come with a plan now. And since the plan's flexible, like if we do so many intersections, we can just reduce it down, right? Like John said. So that round robin distribution thing, just give it to number 1 rank and then number 2 rank per ward or per neighborhood area, do it per ward, as we said. So
well, I'm thinking Should we put out artist call along with getting quotes? That way we can see the feedback that we're receiving from the community. You know what I mean? We're planning to put so much here, so much there. We don't even know how many artists is going to like apply. We don't know if we're going to have an overflow or underflow. So I feel like if we do those at the same time and we can see what the community is saying, what they want, also what we want, like what are we looking to do? Do we want colorful boxes? Do we want like what's gonna be the main focus of the boxes and what do we want to see on them? Unless it's like a free range kind of thing. I feel like we should put those two things out at the same time, and that way we can see the response that the community is getting, giving us various artists and different styles. And then when we do get a quote back and we know how many we can do, then that way, okay, we have enough artists for this project, or we need more artists. So, refresh it.
So you're saying to create another RFP now, push it out for the traffic signal boxes, people can start submitting their art. Yep. That's fine too.
Yes.
That's fine too. And then once you get all the information back from the companies, you can sit down and say, okay, we have the artwork. We're going to select this for this area. We're going to select this for market, maybe Maine. And then we're going to contact the artist and say, okay, we're going to accept your art piece. Right. So then in the RFP, you'll state that everyone's art piece may not be selected, but you will be informed if we do. That's totally fine too. I just want us to keep going. I don't want to wait.
So a few caveats with that. I think the first step here is for us to identify the intersections and make sure that we've got alignment there. Because when we put out the RFP to the artists, I don't want to put up a barrier. There might be an artist that wants to do one that's only themed for this intersection based on that neighborhood, like Middlebury or something like that. So I don't want to, I don't think it's right for us to kind of force them to do something general, whereas they may only want to apply because of, maybe it's what I'm thinking. So what we might want to do is make sure we've got our intersections are identified. And if they want to make it neighborhood specific, it's up to them, or if they want to make it general, unless we want to state that all of these have to be general and applicable no matter where they're placed.
Well, it's going to be.
I know that we have this thing going on in the city where people are very devoted to their given neighborhood.
We also make it we could say it's ward specific as well, right? So we could say like you can submit something with the theme of a given ward, knowing that we're probably going to have hopefully at least one traffic box per ward. In which case, if they made it ward themed, it could go towards that as well on that level. It's supposed to be very specific to the individual neighborhood too. But I guess that would depend on where the traffic boxes actually fall out in the most highly trafficked areas.
Like Merriman Valley may want one that has a lot of nature feel to it, but that same nature feel one would not really be applicable sitting on Market Street by the museum.
Well, on the application, I would say, what ward, like we're going to want their name, their contact information, and what ward are you representing?
Yeah.
So that way they could send that information back and say, well, I'm representing Highland Square. So let's get that back.
Their artwork representing.
Their artwork is representing, yes.
Yeah, and we could do that, but then we can also leave it open that you can make one that's applicable for anywhere in the city.
Yes, definitely.
Great.
But we don't want to tell where we're putting the traffic signal boxes ahead of time.
Right.
I want to kind of keep that information so we can do a huge.
No, I was referring for that to be background information for us to know. Yep.
And we'll release all that information once we get ready to, once we get ready to wrap it and everything is good to go. Then we'll release a press release and on our website showing the pictures of each traffic box and its location, and then who the artist was. We can give that information, but I think we should keep the location. Ourselves.
Apologize. Do you have a template like call for artists for like RFP for that? If not, I could put one together. But
I just saved some of them from
ones.
Not from the city, but it's with the public arts. For the arts, they send out a lot of different examples. So I try to save some of those so I can upload those and send them to you. where you guys could take a look on
Yeah.
what the call for artists looks like. Yeah.
I did remember old business that just popped into my head. We were talking about creating like a Slack channel or something like that for improved communications as opposed to email.
Yes.
What is
Please.
that again? I'm sorry.
Just basically like a, you know, like a Teams or Skype or Slack or some way to communicate other than on email.
Yes.
Yeah, we had talked about that, and I was going to do it over the holiday, but I was sick, and I also wanted to spend time with my
Me
family.
too. I
So
also was sick.
I will try to get the band up and running, and that would be connected to everyone's cell phone. Understand that. So
Okay.
if you're, you know, updating, you ask questions, it's going to ping to everyone's cell phone. You can silence the alerts, but you will see that there was a message, you know, in there. So I know how to work band. I have like 3 different accounts in band, so I can set that up for everyone. So I'll send out a list of everyone's name with your telephone numbers that I have, and if I don't have that correct, if you guys can update your telephone numbers, that would be great.
Mm-hmm. So I can work on putting together the RFP, and then we can also put together a spreadsheet that has all the words on it, where people can kind of look into like maybe specific neighborhoods or something. Maybe we can associate people with it just for research purposes too. Even if we're going to use the most highly trafficked areas, it might be useful to have some of the commissioners just like volunteer some time if you're willing to go out and like actually see the intersections or spaces and see if they make sense, even if they're the most highly trafficked ones. Bring up a case for that, like if it doesn't actually make the most sense for where the art should be located. And we could follow back up with all those locations in the next meeting if we get all that data, traffic data back from the city and those specific intersection locations. And then if I can get the RFP for artists, the call for artists out, I'll try to send that out over email before the next meeting, because preferably everyone can get their comments on it. We could have a discussion about that then as well.
Yeah, Andy, I can help you with that. Like I didn't see applied for many, so and I think John did raise a good point, but also keep in mind, typically art is a passion for many artists, right? So I don't think that there are going to be too many ones that are going to be picky. I think just the opportunity of being able to have their art in their city somewhere where they can, even if they're not within that ward or whatever, even if they can just have people say, hey, I got this piece of art over here, go by there and take a picture. If they never been in that ward or in that community, that's a new way to expand, you know, seeing your city, like being around your city. So I don't really see a problem with people wanting to be like, oh, I only want to do this for this. I think that just the opportunity of having your art in a public place where you can tell your friends and family to go look at it, they'll go look at it. They'll, you know, that'll be an exciting thing. But when writing the artist call, and I feel like this is a pet peeve of mine, we need to really narrow down what we're looking for, because this call, with all the detail, like what we're looking for, we're gonna get so many different things, and it's gonna, you know, I want people to be like, if I can accomplish that, or if I can do that, this is the perfect call for me to apply for. You know what I mean? I don't want to set nobody up for failure. So we need to, as a commission, really narrow down what are we looking for. Like, what do we want to see on these boxes? What kind of emotion are we trying to convey? What kind of message are we trying to send out? So definitely, Andy, I would definitely like to help you with that call.
So if I can just add something to, so I would just start like a bullet point list of what we're looking for, what we don't want. Like,
yeah,
you know, we need to follow some guidelines, like nothing that is, you know,
exactly.
You know, negative or whatever. But because you'll get them all, and then you know, it can't be offensive in any way. That's the word I was looking for. It's got to be appropriate for all ages is another one. But the other thing is we need to also provide, I think, Summer, you have this information from when you did the research with City of Stowe, is we need to put up front like how their artwork is going to be the material So it's got to be transferable. Like we need to give them some update. Like your artwork needs to be able to be
high resolution,
digitalized, high resolution,
Yeah.
because it's most likely going to be printed on a vinyl that's going to be wrapped around the box. I'm simplifying that, but let's make sure we get the specifications correctly and that it's clearly written in 7th grade level language of what it is, because you're going to get people that think they can just bead a traffic box or, wrap lights around it or neon or all this other stuff that is not going to be possible. And I just want to make sure that they know and understand that it's going to have to be high resolution, to your point, Summer.
Yeah, when Lock 3 did their the 12 Days of Christmas, we did note that, make sure it's high resolution. You have to send it in JPEG, not pixelated. So there was verbiage. So I'll try to find that back from 2021. I'll try to find that information and then send it to you all to take a look at it. And then we had the company just, print it out and put them on boards that we put in like screens to make them protected. But,
right. Assuming we need like a minimum resolution for any sort of like pixelated JPEG, PNG or anything, and anything that's like a scalable vector graphic or like cell shaded edges, like smooth lines, probably can be any scale because you can print out any resolution. And then traditional art maybe has to be like a certain scale. Is that the kind of like dimensions that you're referring to? Or?
So here's the thing. That's why you guys have been selected from your various backgrounds, right? So many of you are artists. You already know what is needed, what's looked for. So when it comes to researching that, that's part of your reason for being on the commission, is because you're going to bring your knowledge. It's not all about me doing the research. It's about you guys.
I agree with that. But can we get specs about the traffic box dimensions? Because if we have that, it would be a lot easier to come up with like the resolution requirements that would look nice.
Yeah, so I have the dimensions, all of that. So once you guys, discuss what areas, when I do that, have that report printed for you, then we will do the dimensions. So let that right now be not the biggest concern. I think the basic thing to be concerned about is getting the information from our zoning team of the highly trafficked areas, and what areas you guys want. And then also the need of the call for artists, what that'll look like. Once we get all that, then we can work on the different dimensions, because there are some traffic signal boxes. When you're driving around and you stop at a red light, just look at all 4 corners. It's going to be a silver box. It can be big. It can be about that big. It can be on the ground, sitting on concrete that's about 5 feet tall. So when you're driving around, just start being a little cautious of the areas that you're in and take a look and get an idea of what boxes look like, because they're all different shapes. They're not all, rectangles. Some are squares, so forth. So as you're out and
just
about,
like people,
you guys start taking a look at the areas that you're in and look at the boxes.
Also, the company that does the prints will have those requirements as well. Like if I go through a company to print something for my own project, they're going to say we need it at this. That would be a guideline to have as well.
So yeah, so when you guys select the locations, I will then provide all of that information to the company of the, I would have to give them the size, because they have to print the, the wraps. So they'll be going out, they have to know that the keyhole can't be covered. So they'll have to make sure they cut out the keyhole and still make it look like a flushed piece that's looks like it's painted on the box, but it's actually a vinyl wrap. So once we solidify everything else, then I could, work with the company on what is needed.
Sounds good to me. I'd be willing to help out with that too as well, Summer, like translating things or translating the art around the box so that whatever gets cut out isn't the most important like centerpiece of the art that was submitted or something too. Because if they're not artists, they might not know that. So they're probably going to be asking us for feedback on that as well. But I think if we set a conservative minimum for raster images, like pixelated images, hopefully there's enough overlap that even if they do have to blow it up a little bit from our initial RFP, if art was created, it'll work out. Like, it won't be too fuzzy or blurry or anything if there was to be like a little bit of scaling. So
right. And then you can always go back to the artist, right? Once you select the location, you select that artist to do, say, the box on South Hawkins and Garmin. It flushes right there. It's a huge box, right? And we say, oh, we like John's, art piece. So, hey, John, could you please maybe enhance it a little bit so that we can blow this up as a 5 by 4 foot image? So then it's not pixelated, it's not blurry, and so forth. So we can always go back to the artist and ask for them to enhance their work.
Yeah, I know if they draw it physically too, the scanner they use or however they get it scanned in to to be a digital image is going to highly correlate to the actual resolution size you get out of the raster image. So maybe we'll have to find a fancy scanner for some of the people. I don't know if our library has anything like that. Off the top of my head for resources they could use for that, but still have to figure it out.
They need to figure it out. Yep.
With the call, we can specify create, are we asking them to create a whole new piece? Are we asking them to submit prior work to be, so we could, this my style of work, this is what I do. And then if we do choose them, we can ask them, like I said, to create a new piece, or we could choose from what they already have.
I like the idea of making that a selection criterion and giving them the option to do it, but saying that maybe we prefer a new piece, or if there is an old piece, a justification for it, the location, neighborhood, or reason, and where that old piece had been displayed prior. Maybe using it as a selection criteria, just so they know that we're going to use that as a basis to judge which piece we select.
So just a quick, when we did for Main Street for the holiday, when we did the call for artists, we said, please send us a piece of your artwork, right? And this style resolution. I mean, if someone actually created it with their hand and then they took a picture and blew it up, that's what we asked for. That's how we selected the artists or the students or members of the community we selected them that way. Then we said, hey, Andy, Jessica, Katie, Stephanie, we like your art piece. What you showed us. Can you please create whatever it is?
Something in this
location. You want that location to be maybe vibrant. We want this area to have, bright colors. That's up to you guys to pick what you want on those boxes. So then you say, hey, Andy, can you please share a piece with us? Whatever your guidelines are. Andy creates it. You say, okay, that's nice. Andy, can you maybe put a little bit more color? You can do it that way too. Or you can do a call and say, hey, we're doing traffic signal boxes. Please send us your best art piece of what you want to see in your neighborhood or in the city of Akron on a traffic signal box. They can just draw it out of what they want, send it to you guys, then you select it. That way we're not going back and forth with the artist.
I think it's easier to just have the artist submit their final design. I don't want to go back and forth with each artist, plus we have to decide how many wards do we have, Summer?
We have 10 wards. So if we're looking
10
at
wards,
4
right?
40, yeah.
So
that's a lot of work.
Yeah, it's a lot of work, and I don't want to be sitting in front of every artist and going, well, I like this one, but I don't like this one, or whatever. So we need to let them have as much freedom of expression and all that good stuff. This isn't something like we're curating for, inside of a building or something. So I
give them the guidelines and what to do and what not to do.
Yeah, and if they want to, and I think if they want to submit more than one, I think we can allow them to do that. And we just keep it as open as possible. So if everybody's given an equal chance, you can submit more than one, and one artist submits 2, one submits 1, and one submits 10, so be it.
Well, we can say up to 2. We can keep that
open. You can limit it. Yep,
limit
you can limit it. That's a good point. And so we'll try to control as much of these variables, because this is, we all have full-time lives here, and this is fun, and I love this part, but yeah.
Yes, we do.
Do your own.
I have a quick question. What sort of portals or systems do we have in order to like capture these like drawings? Are they going to email them in, or are we going to like have like a portal webpage they submit them through?
Put them through
So-
submittable, can't you?
I was gonna say we can
The
do
submittal?
submittal.
Yeah, I'd like how
Or
it
they can even
organizes them that
email
way.
them directly to our email address, publicarts.com. Well, publicarts.
Oh yeah, I like the
So-
submittable idea because I like how it organizes everything, like by the person submitting and everything else.
And then we can also kind of make it a little easier. We can just do another application strictly for this to say name, address, just the basic information, and submit your art piece. So they don't have to go through all the different steps. Let me work on
Other
that.
than
Okay.
like the sizes and quality, and that is like how much direction or phrase of like to create the artwork, like messages of hope, or like where will we guide that, or how much, or is that just if it's a high trafficked area, it's an opportunity to create something that lifts people up. Art can do that, but if there's a theme or a phrase to pull toward that, do we want to do that? Or
Yeah, I think in Stowe they did all types of stuff. They did something like with hope or smile or a sunflower on one, and maybe positive sayings on another. Let's just let people be creative. You know, just give them, like John said, just give them kind of the rules of what we will not accept. And this is how the type of resolution we need, but you are free to create a piece that you want to see in your community.
I like the idea of leaving it open too, and we just select after, like they submit with whatever they submit. We can choose to select it or not, regardless of what they submit. So since we have that like level of control.
So then what's next steps? So while we're waiting for the RFP to be approved from our law department, and then at our next meeting, everybody will review it, you'll approve it, then I'll push it out that Friday, no later than that Monday, depending on what our comms team has. But then
you can do that via email, Summer.
I'm sorry.
We can do that via email, can't we?
We could so what I was going to say was, to make it all the way legal, let's take a vote, and we have quorum for what was the terminology I used?
Approval of the RFP from legal, or
Approval of the chair. So
right,
where you guys can vote through email. You won't do everything voting through email, but certain things like this, the RFP is approved, send it out, you guys take a vote on it. I don't exactly know that terminology. I apologize for that, and our lawyer is not on the call.
well,
so let me work on that with our lawyer to find out the exact terminology.
Yeah.
Our next meeting, we can vote on that. Then therefore, we're working on projects that need to go out sooner than later.
It's really just what we did with the last RFP, right? It's the exact same thing. Basically, we're just going to all agree to vote on it in the interim period so we can get it sent out.
Yes. Yes. But for this next one with the community, we're not going to do an RFP. It's going to be a call for artists. So it doesn't have to have all the legal background and all of that. We're just saying, hey, community, this is what we want. We could show a picture of a traffic signal box, a blank one, and then one that's covered. And then we could say, call for artists. This is what we're looking for. We give them the whatever requirements we're looking for, and we give them a deadline date. And that's what we could be working on through conversation to solidify that. And then at our next meeting, we can vote on it, and then we can push it out.
Perfect.
Sounds like we have a game plan going.
Can't we just do a motion to approve the RFP based on the legal review? Can we do that today? Doesn't that cover us?
Oh, yeah, it does cover you. Because all law is going to do is just say, you know, if there's something we were missing, legal wise, they're just going to correct it and
Right.
then send it back to me.
So why don't we just, yes, I'll just make a motion to approve the RFP based on review by the legal department. This is John.
Second.
So John, motions, we get a second.
Roberta seconds it.
Let's get the second from Roberta. We get an aye for everyone else wants to approve.
Aye.
Aye.
All right, so we have a quorum. So we're all agreeing to vote through email. As soon as it comes in from legal, if there's no other changes.
Nope.
We're not voting at all. We're voting now. And if there's any additional changes by legal, we're just saying we're not worried about it, essentially. Correct?
Yeah, all we're gonna do is
yeah.
get it back. It's gonna have any legal and we're good to go. We don't need to take another vote.
Gotcha. Yep. Okay, cool.
The only thing
Sounds
that
like
I will probably add to it is a picture of a traffic signal box covered for the
That's
business
actually a
to
good point.
really get a clear idea of what we're looking for.
Yeah.
We don't need to throw that into this motion. We're okay with that.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
so you know.
Okay. So then the motion's approved to, got it.
Yep, good. So that way that doesn't hold that up. So obviously Summer, it's, the ball's in your court. If there's any significant changes that need to be brought, then we can reopen the motion. That's always possible. But just let us know where, let us know the legal review and what the, if there's any major changes or anything of that sort.
Things related to budget, other things to be interesting to see specifically too, with the selection criteria. If there's anything like relevant related to those, because that could adjust the process, maybe not considerably, but.
And then we can start maybe a conversation around the, if you plan on creating that, Andy, about the call for artists or whoever else plans to help with that.
Yeah, Jessica, you said you wanted to help with it too. Does anyone else want to be like in on that with us?
And I'll send you some pictures.
Okay.
And if we utilize those pictures in our call for artists, we have to actually say where it's coming from. Give credit to that artist.
Sure thing. Yeah, and you said you have some examples you're going to send over as well. Jessica has applied for a lot of them. I've applied to, I think everyone here's probably applied to like probably one or two call for artists. So, I mean, we're going to get some good feedback on that probably. So we can get the initial bit going and then we can get that good feedback cycle like we got on the RFP last time over email.
Yep.
Okay. All right. Do we have anything else in the agenda?
Just to make note that, I'm sorry, I'll wait till you move on.
Oh no, you're good.
Okay, Mac Love has the contract. He has received his deposit. So they will begin working. I think they already started doing some work. They have maps of all 10 wards. So we're going to go from there. So hopefully he'll be able to report something within the next, maybe the February meeting. I'll talk to him, or it's the March meeting.
Sure. All right. Next on the agenda, just any upcoming public art events anyone wants to announce?
Oh, I just wanted to, Roberta, wanted to mention Summit Art Space, the 12th, which is Friday. They're having their winter exhibition that's opening, so people can go and enjoy that. And also they're going to be having what's called speed coaching for artists. It's a one-on-one, and it's going to be on February the 6th and the 8th. So if you're interested, you can go to their website, find out more. Okay.
Anyone else?
Will there be a section on our website for information like this, like updates of art activities and events that's going on in Summit County?
Oh no.
I highly suggest against that, and the reason being is the time it takes. One, I know that that Summer does not have the resources nor the city to populate that, and we have Arts Now, and I would use Summit Live 365, which is their website, to allow that informs everyone of all of the things that are going on. That's my opinion, and I also think since Arts Now is responsible for promoting arts and culture in the county, the more, and this is how this commission got created. I really think that we should leverage something that's already existing. Now, I do think we could add a link to our website, Jessica, and then to, to direct people to it, but that would be my suggestion, because all of you are going to drive yourself batty or somebody's going to drive themselves batty trying to capture all of these
events.
That's my opinion, Summer, unless you're looking at me going, I'll do it, but I don't think you
No,
are.
I was not looking at you
my
as if I'll
friend.
do it, I'll do it.
I don't think you are, so.
No, that's a lot of work, especially if it's not city engaged, right? So
Yeah, then we got to go
let
through.
the people that have already invented that wheel, let them continue to do that work. So if you guys know of stuff to send it over to Arts Now, feel free to do it. It does not have to come through me. Now, what I will do, and I do like that suggestion, is to add those links to our website. But that's about it. I don't have the capacity to list every single function throughout the city of Akron on our website. It's just me in my intern. So yeah.
Yeah.
But good idea, but sorry, Jessica, I gotta pass.
And John, you didn't mention the Martin Luther King on Monday at the Art Museum, just in different places. So try to participate in some of the things.
Yeah, sorry about that, Roberta. I could keep you on this phone call for another hour to go through all the programs that are going on right now. So, but we do have some great programming happening here Monday at the museum. So that's in motion as well. We'll have some great photographs of the King and his family and all that good stuff. So, yeah. Did we hit old business yet?
Hold on 1 second.
We started off with old business.
Oh, I'm sorry. I forgot to bring something up.
You can go back.
That's the parking deck that I had sent you, Summer, about, I think it was the blue teak, like putting art up in the parking deck, and none of this has gone through the commission.
Is that the parking deck across the street, like above Akron?
That was approved. That came through the commission. That was down to the Akron partnership, but inside the parking deck, I know that I had received information, sent images to you, Summer, and I think Eric, saying, hey, this has got to get approved. And I don't know where that is. And they act like they got approval from building department or something.
Can you find that email?
Yeah, I will. I'll try to look it back up. But I was
So are they starting to do the work?
I don't know where it is, but
yeah, could you resend that to me? Because I'm looking through your emails.
Yeah, I gotta see
and I don't see
address
anything.
I sent it to. Here it is, parking deck. Yeah, all right. Yeah, parking deck, modular murals, and Art Love is working on it in blue teak. And
oh. And this is this where it connected to the library?
I sent this last October, yeah. And
and they said they got approved. Okay, I'll reach out to Matt and find out, because only approval on this is a City of Akron deck.
Right. And that's City of Akron property, and we should be using the Art Commission. And if I'm not mistaken, I guarantee you that if this is a Tony Tropy thing, he jumped the shark.
Okay, thank you. I will research. I will follow up.
I would say it to him. I know this is being recorded. He knows I would say it to him.
Yeah, honestly, yeah.
My friend, I'd say to him.
Yeah.
So if you could follow up.
Well, he's a fun guy.
That'd be
and
great.
Also, thank you, John, for that. If you guys start to see art, if you're in public buildings and things like that, and you see new stuff going up that you've never seen before, please bring that to my attention. The reason for getting this commission is to stop random art pieces going up. Not saying that they're bad or distasteful, and more likely you guys would approve it, but we need to make sure that everyone has a maintenance plan and that it does not fall on the City of Akron and our maintenance team to take care of what people throw up. So please keep me in the loop. And John, I do apologize for missing this.
No,
But
that's okay.
now,
Honestly,
so-
I obviously didn't remember since October, but I'm just like, oh,
Got it.
okay, thank you. Andy, I think, are we done?
Are there any other like last comments that anyone has? Any other old business or anything else that needs to bring up before we motion to adjourn? All right. I'm going to take that silence as ready to adjourn. You get a motion to adjourn the meeting.
And just to let you guys know, there's 9 viewers today.
Oh, do we have any public comments?
We do not have any public comments.
All right. I
Nice.
assumed we didn't because we never have public comments, but all right. You get a
I
motion
would
to
like to
adjourn?
say, since we're live, if anyone has public comments,
Yeah.
please email publicart@akronohio.gov before prior to Monday. Oh, I'm sorry. I guess I should say they're due on Monday before noon. So again, any comments that you have for the Public Arts Commission, please submit your comments to publicart@akronohio.gov by Monday at noon. That's it.
Well, I'm going to motion to adjourn the meeting. Andy Hillier.
Can't motion.
A second. John,
John motions it. Is there a second?
no, all right. I'll take the first motion to
Wait.
adjourn. This is
Right.
John. Thank you. I need,
Second.
yep,
All right. Summers the second.
No, I
Megan.
can't do it. One of you
Megan,
guys
if
have to
Megan
say
nodded her
something.
head.
Megan nodded her. All right, Megan, we're going to take your
Megan, you
head
need to
nod then.
take that.
I will second. There you
Okay.
go.
All right, we have a second. Megan.
Thank you.
Megan's a second motion to adjourn. So we're going to go ahead and adjourn the meeting. Thank you guys for your participation. And if anyone's interested in this call, by the way, for artists, please reach out. Jessica and I hopefully will have something by the next meeting. I appreciate.
I'd be happy to review it, but I can have somebody on my team review it as well because we have to put a lot of these together sometimes.
Absolutely.
So that helps. Let me know, but otherwise you guys got it.
Thank you.